This is the evolution of Siri. How did it go from a product considered outdated to one of the most ambitious AI transformations ever made by Apple? Let's find out. On October 4th, 2011, Apple unveiled the iPhone 4S, and one of its biggest new features was Siri. While voice recognition solutions already existed on some smartphones, Siri was the first virtual assistant to truly demonstrate how useful voice interaction could be.
I'm locked out.
I found 3 locksmiths fairly close to you.
Users could ask their phone to call a contact, send a text message, set an alarm, check the weather, or search for information on the internet. However, commands often had to be phrased quite precisely in order to work correctly, and the responses were not always what users expected. Even with these limitations, Siri was widely regarded as the most advanced voice recognition technology available on a smartphone in 2011. Over the following years, Apple continued to steadily expand Siri's capabilities. With the release of iOS 6 in 2012, Siri gained access to information about sports, movies, and restaurants, allowing users to accomplish more tasks using only their voice. Around the same time, Siri also made its way to the iPad. A year later, with iOS 7, Apple completely redesigned the interface and introduced more natural-sounding voices.
Hi, Eddie. What can I do for you?
And you can also choose a male voice.
Hi, Eddie. What can I do for you?
Making interactions with Siri feel smoother and closer to a real conversation. During this period, Siri also gained access to additional information sources. Users could ask questions on a wide range of topics and receive answers powered by Wikipedia, while integration with Twitter allowed Siri to display search results and trending topics directly through the assistant. In 2014, with the release of iOS 8, Siri could be activated by voice using the command "Hey Siri." Until then, users had to press and hold the home button to launch the assistant. Apple also introduced the ability to identify music through Siri using Shazam, purchase songs through iTunes, and added support for 22 new languages. Siri also gained the ability to control HomeKit-compatible smart home devices. In 2015, with the release of iOS 9, Siri began to take a more proactive approach, attempting to anticipate what users might need before they even asked.
Things like, show me photos from Utah last August, and instantly show you the right photos from your photo library.
iPhone started analyzing usage habits and could automatically suggest contacts, apps, or actions based on the time of day and the user's behavior. For example, if you called the same person every morning or opened the same app after work, your iPhone would begin suggesting those actions before you requested them. During this period, Siri also became a key part of the first Apple Watch. In 2016, Apple brought Siri to the Mac for the first time.
Hi, it's me. It sure is great to be on the Mac.
Siri is coming to the Mac.
On Mac computers, Siri could be used to search for files, launch applications, check system information, and quickly find documents by name, date, or content. For Apple users, this was the first time the same assistant was available across multiple devices within the ecosystem. Just as important was the introduction of SiriKit, a platform that allowed developers to integrate Siri into their own apps. This enabled users to perform actions in third-party apps such as WhatsApp, Skype, and Uber using only their voice. It was a major step toward turning Siri into a central part of the operating system rather than just a standalone feature. Although the integration was still limited compared to what Google Assistant and modern AI models would later offer, iOS 10 marked the beginning of Apple's efforts to build a broader ecosystem around Siri and expand its role beyond basic voice commands. In 2017, with the release of iOS 11, Apple took another step toward making Siri sound and behave more naturally.
Here's the forecast for the next 10 days. Sunny, sunny, and sunny.
The company began using machine learning technologies to generate Siri's voice, resulting in speech that sounded smoother and more human-like. Around the same time, Siri gained real-time translation capabilities for selected languages. Users could ask Siri to translate a phrase, and the assistant would provide both the translated text and its pronunciation. Apple also improved Siri's ability to understand conversational context. While it was still far from the AI assistants we know today, Siri became better at handling follow-up questions and retaining parts of a conversation, reducing the need for users to repeat information every time. The same year also saw the introduction of the first HomePod. For the first time, Siri was no longer limited to the iPhone, iPad, or Mac. It had become the voice behind Apple's smart speaker, bringing the assistant into users' homes in a whole new way. The period between 2018 and 2020 was quite different for Siri. Rather than receiving major improvements to its intelligence, Apple focused on automation and deeper integration across its ecosystem. The biggest change arrived with iOS 12, when Apple introduced Siri Shortcuts, a feature that allowed users to combine multiple actions into a single voice command. For example, a command like "I'm going home" could start navigation, send a message to a family member, and begin playing a favorite playlist all at once. While this feature was extremely useful for users invested in the Apple ecosystem, competitors such as Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa were advancing much more quickly in natural language understanding and complex conversations. As a result, Siri was beginning to fall behind. In 2021, with the release of iOS 15, Apple introduced on-device speech processing and personalization for Siri. Instead of relying entirely on cloud servers, many requests could now be processed directly on the device, allowing Siri to respond to simple commands almost instantly.
Open Photos. Open Calendar.
This approach also brought a significant privacy advantage. Since some requests no longer had to leave the device, less user data needed to be sent to Apple's servers. Apple continued refining the experience in the years that followed. With iOS 17, users no longer had to say, "Hey Siri," to activate the assistant. Simply saying Siri was enough, making interactions feel faster and more natural. While these updates made Siri quicker and more convenient to use, its biggest challenge remained unchanged. In 2024, Apple unveiled Apple Intelligence, the company's most ambitious artificial intelligence initiative to date. One of the most noticeable changes to Siri was its new interface. Instead of appearing as a small icon, Siri now displayed a glowing effect around the edges of the screen. Apple also announced several major improvements to the way Siri understands users. The assistant could maintain conversational context more effectively, allowing people to ask follow-up questions without repeating all the details. Users could also type requests instead of speaking them, making Siri more practical in situations where voice commands were not convenient. Another significant announcement was Siri's integration with ChatGPT. If Siri encountered a question that was too complex for its own capabilities, it could hand the request over to OpenAI's model, providing much more detailed and sophisticated responses than had previously been possible. However, Apple's presentation also created very high expectations.
And over the course of the next year, we'll be rolling out more features that make Siri even more personal and capable.
The company showcased a number of impressive AI-powered features, but many of them were delayed and scheduled for future software updates rather than being available immediately. In 2025, Apple confirmed that some of the advanced features showcased for the next generation of Siri would not reach users as quickly as originally expected.
We're continuing our work to deliver the features that make Siri even more personal. This work needed more time to reach our high-quality bar, and we look forward to sharing more about it in the coming year.
The development of these capabilities proved to be more challenging than anticipated, leading Apple to delay their release in order to further refine and improve them before making them available to the public. With iOS 27, Apple delivers the biggest update in Siri's history. After years of being criticized for falling behind the competition, Siri has been completely rebuilt and transformed into an AI-powered assistant. The most significant change is Siri's ability to understand and use information from apps such as Mail, Messages, Calendar, Files, and Photos. Siri can now also understand what is displayed on the screen. Whether users are viewing a photo, a document, or a web page, they can ask questions about the content, and Siri understands the context and provides relevant answers. Apple has also improved Siri's ability to hold natural conversations. Users can continue a discussion with follow-up questions without having to repeat all the details each time.
When's that Suki Waterhouse show in SF? Okay, looks like the concert is on July 26th. How can I get tickets? Okay, you have to enter a lottery to get the tickets.
In addition, Siri can perform complex actions across multiple apps. For example, it can send photos to a contact, move calendar events, draft email replies, or complete several tasks within a single request. Apple has completely redesigned the way users interact with Siri. Instead of the traditional experience, Siri now features a new interface that combines search and AI-powered conversations in one place. Users can type or speak to Siri, add images and documents to a conversation, and continue discussions just as they would with a modern chatbot. For the first time, Siri also includes a dedicated app, allowing users to access previous conversations, continue older discussions, and organize important requests in one place. In practice, after nearly 15 years of existence, Siri is no longer just an assistant for alarms and messages. With iOS 27, Apple is transforming Siri into a true personal assistant capable of understanding context, finding information, and taking action on behalf of the user. Do you think iOS 27 is the update that finally puts Siri back on top? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this kind of video, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and if you give us a like and leave a comment, it really helps us out. Thank you.